What is Google Advanced Search and how do I use it? And why would I use it? Google Advanced Search is an addition to your normal Google search template. In normal Google search, and it's become so commonplace for someone to say Google it, the problem with just Googling it is that you get so many results. So let's take something like the Congo. We want to learn about the Congo. I'm going to teach my students about the Congo. So they go home after a lesson and they say, I want to learn about the Congo. They type it in. They're going to find 710 million results to sift through. Obviously, the main things that are going to come up are going to be things like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, all these kinds of things. But I want them to find something very specific about the Congo, particularly imperialism. Now they could type this, that, or Congo imperialism in, but I want them to find things about King Leopold, Henry Stanley, massacres, those kinds of things. I don't want them to be brought to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I don't want them to learn about Zaire, for instance. So I want to make sure I get rid of certain things and I focus in on certain things so that I can really narrow my results so that they aren't dealing with 710 million things to sift through. So underneath your Google search bar, you're going to see on the right-hand side settings and tools. Click on settings and you're going to come down to where it says advanced search. Click on that. It brings you to this page. This page took a lot of time to mess around with to really kind of understand. So let me explain some things to you. Here it says find pages with. And then there's a page break. And then it says then narrow your results by. Follow that formula. Don't type something in here. For instance, we looked for Congo and we're going to add something like we want to find the exact words or phrase, which, by the way, all these things over here are helpful hints. They tell you to use the exact word or phrase, put them in quotes. Belgian Congo, King Leopold II, Sir Henry Stanley. Don't then click advanced search and then come back to fill in any of these words or none of these words. Fill all of this in to begin with. So next, I want to look for the Congo. All right. I want these exact word or phrases. I want any of these words involved, massacre or exploitation or imperialism. I don't want things like the Democratic Republic or Zaire included. Now, when adding any of these words, you're going to put the word or in between each of them. Massacre or exploitation or imperialism. When you're going to enter in the none of these words, you're going to put them in quotes if they are, a phrase like Democratic Republic. They don't need to be in quotes if they're a standalone word like Zaire, but they're always going to have a minus sign in front of them. Now, I don't have any numbers for me to range from, so I'm not going to worry about that, but you might. Now that I've filled in everything I want to fill in this top box, I'm going to go down here to advanced search and click it. My 710 million results have now been whittled down to 5. At that point, then, I can come back to my search result or my advanced search. And now I can select different things, really narrow them down. Now, in my thing, I've already narrowed them down pretty well. But if you come up with, let's say it said, let's get rid of this. Let's see if that gives me some more. No. Let's get rid of Stanley. All right, this gives me nearly 20,000 results. But now, and I'm just doing this for an example, so I'm not really worried about that. But now we can narrow results by language. You're going to go ahead and find, I want things in English for my students. And any region's fine, I guess, as long as they're in English. Last updated, anytime is fine with me because that also includes the past 24 hours, but you can also narrow it down if you want things more recently, if you're looking for things in the news. But I'm not, so anytime is fine. You can also search them within a particular domain. For instance, wikipedia.org. It's a very specific domain in English. Terms can appear anywhere on the page, but you can also choose it in the title. Depending on what you're searching for, it may work. Obviously, these wouldn't work in my example. You can also search for any file type. Again, for me, any file type is fine, but maybe you want or maybe you yourself, you're looking for PowerPoints that you want to be able to share, or you're looking for a PDF that you're going to be able to save and print off, something like that. So any particular file format you can look for. And then also your license and usage rights. Now, typically we search for things that just aren't that are not filtered by license, so anything can pop up, every license thing. So if you're just searching for your own curiosity, that's great. But if you want your students to be able to use these things, you can search for things that are free to use and share that they can put into their PowerPoint slides or Google Slides. You want things, now again, for my students, this wouldn't be the case, but maybe you're looking for logos or images that you can use on, for your t-shirts that you want to sell. So you can mess around with that as well. But let's go ahead and just search within Wikipedia and see what we find. So the Belgian Congo is there. We can click on that. We have our results. Go back. But again, this narrowed it down a lot. All right. And really gave us exactly what we want to look at, because we're looking all within the Wikipedia domain. Now, maybe I want to go back. And I don't want this to be Wikipedia, so let's get rid of that. But I do want this to be English. And I want it updated anytime. And I'm going to look for simply PDFs. And now again, we see our things have been limited down. So that is the way in which you are going to use Google Advanced Search. How this is going to make searching much easier for you. Now, you don't necessarily need to use this page, Google Advanced Search, by the way. These tips on the side really help. So when you're typing things into your normal Google search, type things in quotes if you want those exactly found. Put or in between things if you want any of those words. Put minus in front of words and minus in front of quoted phrases if you don't want them to appear. If you do that in your normal search, you're essentially using advanced search in real time. So those are some tips and tricks in the way in which you use Google search. Thank you.